что здесь написано?
А? Тебя снять?
Не, я сниму. Я хочу это снять.
Thank you one more time for coming, and now we proceed with the next part of our program. So I will start with my speech. My name is Karolina Kisiel. I'm from Poland, and I'm also a member of Amnesty International. And I came here today to show my support towards the people of Ukraine and to show my disapproval with what is currently going on in the world. When I first found out what happened, that Russia invaded Ukraine on the morning of the 23rd of February, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. After all, we live in Europe, we survived 2 world wars, and it becomes apparent, at least I thought so, that after all those atrocities that happened, people learn that this is not good to do such things. But here we are with Russia invading Ukraine and with ongoing war close to our borders. And this really made me sad, infuriated. I just couldn't believe that people still do things like that, but it happened, and it's really sad. And among all this chaos and political propaganda, I would like to remind you that there are civilians' lives at stake. There are people, individuals, who are now suffering, whose lives are threatened because of war, because of what Vladimir Putin is doing. And we have to condemn that and show our support with the people who are now threatened. I would also like to refer to what's currently happening in Russia. You know, here we have Carnival, and there was no problem to organize this protest within a matter of 3 days or even less. And we managed, there was no problem with the authorities, nothing. But people in Russia who are currently protesting against their government and what they are doing are being detained, are being stopped. They cannot use their freedom of expression, one of the most basic human rights. This also deserves condemnation. And lastly, I would like to speak about history for a bit. You know, there is this quote that who doesn't know the history is condemned to repeat it. The other day, I talked with my dad about this quote, and he said something to me that is, I think, really true, that it's not only about learning it, about learning all those dates, historical facts by heart, but it's also about listening to it and respecting it, so that things like the one on the 23rd of February won't happen again, so that things like World War II and Holocaust don't happen again. Thank you one more time for showing up today and showing your support. This is really important. Prioritize humanity. Prioritize civilians. Stop the war.
Well, first of all, welcome and thank you all for coming. My name is Pavel. Both of my parents are from Vinica. I'm not particularly good at this kind of thing, so instead of giving you some great speech about politics or something, I'd like to tell you a story instead. My dad's grandmother lived in Kherson, which is, well, very close to the Crimea, or as close as it gets, I guess. And we have this running gag in our family, and maybe people know about this, or maybe people will disagree, but according to my dad, Kherson is the best watermelons in the entire world. And I can be a testament towards the truth of that statement, because I despise watermelon, and those are the only ones that I can actually eat. During the late 90s, my family had to leave Ukraine because they received political death threats because they did not want to support pro-Russian propaganda in Ukraine. This war has been going on for multiple decades. This war and Russian imperialism is the reason why my mother had to grow up with an alcoholic war veteran for a father. They're the reason why my family had to leave their home country and build up a completely new life in Germany. They're the reason that my cancer-sick friend had to travel to Israel and to multiple other countries to receive the proper treatment, because the healthcare system in Ukraine has never stood up to anything. And they're the reason why she died when I was 12. They're also the reason why my uncle died due to greed and gluttony and the desire to have more than he needed. And they're the reason why my family has been torn apart in the past years. Right now, instead of celebrating and living our lives and being happy and having fun with our friends, my family has to figure out how to help our friends and family in Ukraine at the moment. And I know that a lot of people have lost their lives, but I wanted to remind you, despite all the politics that are going on at the moment, what this is really about. This is about the people of Ukraine, and this is also about the people of Russia that have been lied to and that have been deceived for the past decades with no chance for freedom and democracy of their own. This is about my friend Jania, who died in 2010 while my family and I were on vacation in Denmark. And this is about my uncle Jura, who thought about picking up a rifle and traveling from Vinica to Kiev to fight for his home country, and now helps refugees getting across the borders. This is for all the people whose lives have been uprooted in the past decades due to greed and hate from the Russian regime. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for coming and showing your support. Slava Ukraini.
Bapaus, that is Finnish and it means freedom. I'm here to stand with Ukraine, but it is not only Ukraine we are standing here for. It's Europe, it's freedom. I grew up hearing about stories about war and its horrors. It is about losing family members, loved ones, and things that you will never recover from. Also, my home country, my home language, and all of my culture was once fought to keep from the Soviet Union, and I got to be raised in a free society. I know many here from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and all the surrounding countries can relate to the distress of the new world situation. Putin is a war criminal. Today, European youth is watching how our leaders respond to our values and our hard-worked peace being threatened. Cut off the war criminal. That's what we wrote in the banner yesterday. Cut him off from SWIFT and from everything that he found dear. Let's push our own home countries to send money, send arms, and send all the solid support we can. From Maastricht, the birthplace of EU, Europe stands with Ukraine. Ukraine's heartache is our heartache. I stand with Ukraine's freedom. Thank you.
Real quick, again, if you want to speak, if you want to say something, please come to him over here. Also, we want to play some songs in between, so if you have any songs, suggestions, recommendations, anything like this, also please come to the same spot and we'll make sure that we play it. So yeah, just again to say, come to him if you wish to say anything. We'll have like a short moment just to play also a song, and also that you can come here if you want to. And yeah, so we'll continue shortly.
Ты здесь? Я думал, ты уехал. Потому что уехал. Меня нужно? Мир. Давай сниму тебя. Стоп, вар. Ты что, покажи свою картинку покажи, это с грузинской следует. Поцелуем. Хорошо. А что фото сделать, а? Кто-нибудь видел маму твою? Hi.
Did you film all of it?
Hi everyone. I actually am very happy and delighted to see everyone coming here today, despite of the carnival and all the joy that most people who are in Ukraine or whose families are in Ukraine right now cannot experience that and cannot really live normally from 2 days on. I myself come from Ukraine, Dnipro, and I'm here all by myself. My whole family is in Ukraine. My friends are in Ukraine. This is hard. I'm doing this for the first time, but I really thank you. 2 days ago, I was awakened from the messages and calls of my family that they woke up because the bombs were bombarding them all over Ukraine. I never wished to wake up like this, and I never wished my family and friends to wake up like this, and no one in the world to wake up like this. If Russian troops leave Ukraine now, the war will stop. Ukrainians are fighting for life now because they know if they stop fighting, there will be no Ukraine anymore. People are fighting for their land. Russian troops came to Ukraine, not vice versa. And Putin has to be stopped now. It is extremely heartwarming. I'm trying to do everything that I can from here to speak up, to raise awareness, and I hope that everyone will be touched by the story that is going on in Ukraine right now. Those are the lies we're talking about, and if it continues like that, there will be no winner. So Putin has to be stopped now. The Russian troops have to leave Ukraine now, and there will be no war. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emine Ferraro. I've been living in Kiev for 6 years. I moved there in 2016 and I came to Maastricht for working in August, leaving my husband in Kiev in our home that we love a lot with my cat. So my husband thankfully joined me on Wednesday before things raced. So as a Turkish person lived in Ukraine, I have to say that all the lies of Putin is saying is not true. For example, first he said that he wanted to avoid Ukraine to be a member of NATO, which was not real. NATO never promised for membership of Ukraine because they were not even fulfilling the criteria. And then this doesn't work. And then he started to say that he wants to destroy the neo-Nazis in Ukraine. To be honest, I've never seen a single neo-Nazi in Ukraine. Only Nazi that I saw in Ukraine was the Russian soldiers who were fighting in Donbass against Ukrainian people since 2014, and they were killing people since 2014. And unfortunately, in Europe, nobody showed this news. Since 2014, there was already war in Ukraine. What happened is, and already 14,000 people died in Ukraine since 2014. So, what happened? Last year April, Russia started to also add troops all over the Ukraine and surrounded Ukraine with 190,000 troops. And then suddenly the world started to look at Ukraine. But we couldn't stop Putin. What should we do to stop Putin? When NATO will act? When USA will act? Are we going to watch people die killed and their husbands taken to the army. They are walking for 25 kilometers to the Polish border. Nobody is helping them, and they don't know what to do. How many of them I can help? How many of them I can take my home? Are we responsible? Yes, we are responsible, but where are the governments? We have to act. We have to act, and we have to push our governments to do something. Turkish government, Dutch government, European government. We have to act. And as people, I think what we can do, we have to share this information. We have to share what's happening in Ukraine right now. People are dying in Ukraine right now. People are forced to go to army in Ukraine now. People lost their job in Ukraine now. People are walking to the Polish border right now to save their lives. We have to help them, and let's push our governments. Thank you very much.